Hello, welcome back to the In All podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about one of the most commonly asked questions that I get about manifestation, and it is about the art of detachment and surrender. This is a really, really big part of manifestation because manifestation requires you to already be the version of you that has it all. And so when you fall into a place of lack and feeling like you are too attached to the outcome that you are manifesting, you will only be okay when I have the relationship, when I have this amount of money, and you almost have this feeling of clinging and longing after something that you don't currently have. You are too attached to it. And what that does is it stops you from being able to be in the present moment and grateful for what you currently have. And it also signals to the universe, oh, she is not already that thing. As soon as we are trapped in longing, as soon as we are trapped in clinging, as soon as we are attached to an outcome, we can't possibly be signaling that we already are the person that has all of that. Because the person that already has it, the person that already has the manifestation, that has the relationship, that has the money, they don't have a longing to already get it. They just have it. And so this isn't a process of like giving up, which I think a lot of people feel like they need to get to this place where they just give up. They don't care anymore. But it's less giving up and more just trusting. And so there is an element of like getting to a stage where you just don't care whether it comes or when it comes, because though you trust that it's going to come. And that's important because otherwise you can fall into the victim mindset of, well, I just give up. It's never going to come, whatever. And that's a victim mindset versus I surrender control because I trust it's coming in divine timing. And that's ultimately we want to master. But it is probably one of the hardest parts of manifestation to wrap your head around, because how can you consciously want something so much, but then be able to let go of that desire and that want? Like, wanting something often feels good. And there's actually studies that have been done that show the best part and the most enjoyable part of wanting something and working towards something is the actual process of wanting something. Often when you actually attain that thing, it's not as good as you thought it was going to be in your mind. It doesn't live up to the expectations that you created. And that's because the actual process of getting something, the actual feeling of wanting, is often stronger than the solidity and the finality of actually receiving something. And often that comes because then we don't know how to be grateful for it either. We just move the goalpost to something else, and we actually don't sit in the complete gratitude of what we've actually accomplished. But if you really want to change your life, it is going to require you to stop wanting something so badly and to stop getting swept up in the feeling of desire. Our desire is here to set direction for us. It is here to show us, this is where I want to go. This is what I want. Now what I need to do is become the person that already has those things. And then your process is to become that person. It's not to just sit in the want and the desire and the longing. It is to take action towards creating that reality and becoming that person. If you get trapped in the feeling of just wanting and of desiring and of imagining what it's going to be like when you get there and how much better your life is going to be, you are too attached, and it will repel manifestation. Because there is a difference between wanting something and needing something. When you want something, that's when you just have set the desire, but your entire reality isn't like pinned on the need for it to come through. When you need something, it comes from a very clingy energy of like, I'm not okay until I have this thing. I need it for me to be okay. Needing is a scarcity energy. So if we take the example of applying for a dream job, if you apply for a dream job, attachment would look like thinking about it every single day, thinking about what it's going to be like when you get the email and imagining how it's going to happen, and it's in your thoughts all the time. You're almost trying to control the outcome by thinking about it so much. And that feeling can feel quite good to imagine that, right? But that means that you're attached. What in that situation you would need to do is not stop caring that you've put the application in, but just get on with your life and do other things. So improve your portfolio, apply for different jobs, go and see friends, just live your life and experience the pleasures of the present moment, and trust that the universe is conspiring in the background to give you either this or something better. And that's the really important part, that if you don't get the job opportunity, that it's because there is something better that is coming along. And the only reason that there's something better doesn't often come along for people is because people get stuck in believing that the thing that they missed out on, the thing that they were attached on coming through, is the thing, and they missed out on it, and it controls their entire life. They end up going into a sense of victim because they're like, I should have got that. Why didn't I get that? I should have got that thing, but it's now in the past. And what you need to be able to do is surrender to the fact, okay, that opportunity wasn't for me. It must mean that something better is coming along. And I accept that. I surrender to that. That's the level of trust that the universe is looking for. The trust that there is some beautiful big force that is behind us, the universal intelligence that is conspiring to give us everything that we want. All that we need to do is trust it and not get caught up in the loop of hanging on to the past or trying to predict the future and trying to predict how it's going to come through. That's attachment. And we want to be detached. So what are the 3 reasons that we actually struggle with actually detaching? The first reason is about fear of losing control. So we are conditioned in this society to believe that in order for us to get something, we need to do something, that there is a degree of effort that we have to put in. And that is just a societal program that is running very rampant. And so we feel like if we let go of something and we stop trying and we stop obsessing about it and we stop putting effort towards it, that it's counterintuitive and that we are going to lose out on that thing. Now, of course, some manifestations may require work, but the point is that you're working not to control how the outcome is going to come to you, but you're just working on becoming the person and taking the action that's going to give you a better chance of getting that manifestation. So we need to be able to surrender control and know when it comes to whether someone's going to want to go on another date with us, whether someone is going to want to give us a job. We can't control any of that stuff. And we need to stop thinking that we can. The second reason we often struggle with detachment is because of a scarcity mindset. If you have ever previously experienced loss or you felt disappointed by something, that can often be the dominant feeling that is running rampant. And so in order to avoid feeling lack and disappointment, you then cling onto and feel like you need to try to control the outcomes that you don't experience those emotions again. But all that is coming from is a scarcity mindset of, I don't want to lose. Therefore, I'm going to take action from an ego place of, I don't want to lose. I don't want to feel pain. I don't want to be disappointed. And that then causes you to hold on tighter to the desire that you have. And it kind of links back into that control. You then want to control the outcome to avoid feeling disappointment and pain. So that can be another big one. And the third one is an attachment to an identity. So if we believe that when we receive a manifestation, it is going to mean something about us or it is going to give us something. So for example, if I don't get this, I'm not enough. But when I do get money or I do get this job, it's going to prove to people that I am enough, that I am smart, that I am capable. If we have that attachment and we have attached a certain manifestation to a part of a future identity, then it creates this cycle of tying our worth to the manifestation, which again makes it really hard to detach from, because then we start to say, I will only be happy when I get there. But we need to be grateful for today. And so what you actually need to do is look at the root causes of that tying between you and the manifestation. So if it's, I will only be good enough when I manifest this thing, then you need to look at the part of you today that doesn't feel like enough. And you need to feel enough without any of the external manifestations, because this is the whole point of self-love journey and like self-healing, is so that we feel enough without any of the manifestations around us. We feel enough without money, without that relationship, without that friendship. We feel enough and we accept ourselves and we love ourselves irregardless of the tangible things, irregardless whether we have the Range Rover, whether we have the big house. Those things ultimately don't matter. But what does is how we feel about ourselves today. So if you feel like when I get this tangible thing, it's going to mean something about me, then I'll be happy, that's attachment. And what it actually signals is you need to do deeper work on healing yourself today to feel worthy enough, to feel happy enough, to feel joyful enough without the external things. Because I promise you this, when you get the external things, all money and external things do is exacerbate how you currently feel. If you currently don't feel enough, if you currently feel lonely, you will just feel equally amount of not enoughness and even more loneliness when you get there. And you'll just change the stake. So you'll change the final goal. Instead of it being, I want to manifest $100,000, it's suddenly $1 million. And you don't actually feel any different when you get there. So the invitation for you is to heal today what you don't feel enough in and what you are trying to prove with that manifestation. So one for me was when I first started my business, I didn't realize, but I had this like huge desire of wanting to prove to my dad that I was smart enough. And so whenever I did a launch of something, it would indicate of if it's successful, I get to prove to my dad that I'm smart. I get to prove that I'm lovable, that I'm worthy. And so what actually needed to heal was my feelings of unworthiness and not feeling smart and feeling incapable without the external proof. I needed to heal those things. I feel like I was enough without them, because all it created when I then didn't get the things, or it didn't pan out exactly how I thought, was I would get mindset spirals. I'm a piece of shit. I'm not good enough. I'm not this. And then it makes us even more attached to the outcome and what we need to do. And what I did was surrendered to, I can't control how this is going to come. I can't control how fast my business is going to grow. I can't control how quickly I'm going to get money. But what I can control is how I feel today. And so I'm going to go on a self-love journey. I'm going to start healing myself. And I'm going to heal my inner world so I feel worthy right now, irregardless of the business success. When you go on that journey, that ultimately creates the most attachment you can have, because you feel content without any of it. And when you feel content without any of it, that allows space for a detachment to come through, where you're just like, yeah, and anything else is a bonus. Like right now, I have a vision board, but I've created the vision board based on like a desire, but I'm so happy with where I am that I don't need any of it. It's all a bonus. And even if I lost everything that I had today, if I lost the business, or I lost the followings, if I lost my house, I have built myself up to a place where I love myself. I trust myself so much that I know I'll be okay. I can still be happy. Me and my partner can still be happy. We've created such a relationship that we can still be happy. I can still love myself. I can still show up. I can still find meaning without any of those external things. They are all bonuses. And that is detachment. I haven't pinned my worth or my okayness on any of those things. Not even my partner. Like, I believe I love my partner to pieces. We've created the best relationship, but if something happened, I would still be okay. And that's because I've healed me, and that allows me to be detached. So let's talk about some practices that you can actually use to start prioritizing detachment in your every single day. Number one is creating some sort of detachment ritual. So in I Am School, which is my signature manifestation program, which I highly suggest that you guys join, we'll leave all of the details in the caption below. We have a manifestation process that we go through. But if you are struggling with getting attached, I want you to include a certain set of mantras into your day. So whenever you do like visualization exercises, you then want to finish with a manifestation mantra that says, I release this to the universe. I trust that it's already mine. And I trust in the divine timing that it will come through. And you want to say that after you do your manifestation work, but you also want to say something like this before you go to bed. Now, before you go to bed is a really brilliant time to prime your subconscious mind to attract in everything that it is that you desire. So even if you just take this part and you say, as I sleep tonight, I set the intention to let go of any desire to control how my manifestations are going to come through. I release the desire to control. I surrender to the universe, and I trust that everything is going to come to me in divine timing. You want to say something like that before you go to bed. The second thing that you can do to start detaching more is practice gratitude. I know this sounds so simple, but gratitude requires you to be in the present moment. It requires you to be grateful for what you have today. So it's a really great one for basically detaching from the outcome, because it reminds you to literally anchor down into who you have and what you have and the life that you're living right now. And if you're thinking, oh, well, I have a lot of pain in my life, I don't know what I'm grateful for, you are not thinking granularly enough. This is where a healthy level of comparison can come in, to think about the things that really get me almost emotional for how much gratitude that I have in this life is I'm not in a war zone right now. And for anyone that is potentially watching this that has been or is, then we could go even deeper and look at our health. We have working limbs, we have a working immune system, we have an ability to see, we have an ability to hear. Like, some people don't have some of these basic things. We have safety. I'm literally sat here right now in safety. I'm not worried about when the next gun is going to fire. I'm not worried about any of that. I'm just so deeply safe, and I get to wake up in a bed every single day, and I never take any of that stuff for granted. My body, my limbs are fully working. Like, I'm not disabled. I'm able to express myself in the way that I want to. I have a working brain. Like, I'm so grateful for all of these very small things, and I really feel that. And for anyone that, doesn't have those experiences, there'll be other things that you get to be grateful for. Maybe it's the people around you. Maybe it's for the experiences that you've had. Like, there is always something that we can touch on to be grateful for. So I really want to implore you to try not to think about the things that you have, but like the experience that you're living. What can you be grateful for right now? What experiences, what interactions can you be grateful for? What made you feel seen? What made you feel loved? What is something that you potentially take for granted that actually, if you really think about it, if that was taken away, life would be so hard? One that always used to come up for me was my eyesight. When I was younger, I would get these really nasty I think it was like sunburn on my eyeballs, and I would get these like raised bumps on my iris, and they would come in towards like my pupil. And it was so painful. I couldn't open my eyes. I literally couldn't see. I'd wake up every single morning and it was like just my eyes were completely stuck together. And it made me so deeply appreciate having sight, and like the fact that I can wake up now and not have an issue with my eyes and not be in like chronic pain because I've like healed that stuff and I know how to protect my eyes now. I'm so grateful for that. And some people do live in like chronic pain and I don't get to. It's these small things that when you actually start to stack these things up, it's like, wow, actually we have so much right now. And these external things that we want get to be a bonus, but they shouldn't be the only things that we're grateful for. So that can be another thing just to really bring you back into the present moment and see, oh, actually, I do have a lot right now already, irregardless of your circumstances. And finally, the last practice that I want to give you is if you're really struggling to shake off the feeling of being attached, I want to invite you to move your body and actually use something somatic. So typically when we are in this feeling of attachment, is it a feeling that we have in our body? And so what we actually want to do is either move it or shake it out. Now, if you are in I Am School, you can use a breath flow or a somatic flow to shake out the feeling of detachment. So what you want to do is you want to find the feeling of attachment that you have in your body or the thought that's coming up. There'll always be a feeling that's associated with attachment. And you then want to go into one of the breath flows that I give you and literally remove it from your body. And you want to shake it out. You want to dance it out. You want to breathe it out. You want to literally remove it and almost clear out all of the garbage, all of the feelings, all of the emotions, and let it go. And that's also really, really good for healing. And so this kind of comes into the next part, which is like, do not underestimate the power of healing all of this. So any of the root causes of the attachment that make you feel that you need it in order to be okay, those are things that you want to be healing on. So allow this to be the start of a healing journey. If you are feeling attached to an outcome, that is an invitation for you to heal. What a gift. What a gift. It is showing you an area that you need to heal. You may be needed to be attached to showcase your attachment, to then showcase where you needed to heal. And then when you do that healing, that's when you can become less attached, and that's when your manifestations will come through. It's all divinely orchestrated and brought together. Like even you listening to this right now, the universe will have put this right in front of you so that you could hear this and maybe send you on a healing journey. And if you want support on that healing journey, I Am School is here to help you do exactly that. I hope that this session was helpful, guys. And if you do have any feedback or you have any questions, please make sure that you send me a message. I'm always looking for new podcast recommendations and questions that you guys want answering. My goal here is to help you build the absolute dream life that you have always desired and help you to unpack some of the manifestation principles that maybe have felt confusing for you previously and ultimately help you to heal and become a fuller, happier, more fulfilled human in life and just fucking love life. I want us to love this life. So I hope that this was helpful. If you did find this helpful, please make sure that you share this episode with a friend. It means the absolute world to me, and I know that this will help so many people the more that these messages are pushed out. If you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure to give this a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you are listening to this onto the podcast app, please make sure that you leave me a review, share this on your story on Instagram, and tag me in or manifestation. And overall, thank you so much for spending time with me, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye, guys.